is a member of the Mice Chat Podcast Network. MicePod.com. Now, the podcast that's nearly the same.
Don't worry, this goes on for another minute.
Warning, this show contains childish adult content and is intended for immature, mature audiences. Listener discretion
She's really welcome
is
getting
advised.
this recorded as
Reviews
lyrics.
spoken are ours and ours alone. Not
We've still got to find someone who sings for us,
If
though,
you're easily offended, we strongly suggest
because
you
I'm
find another
definitely not
podcast.
doing it.
Everybody neat and
My,
pretty.
my talents
Get on
don't
with the
extend
show.
that far. Everybody knows your name. That's it.
Yeah, no, you're right.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. See,
You've got the number for the show, brother.
it's at this point I normally say something like calm down, actually pretending there's a real audience and I didn't just press the right button. Oh, right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Mouse's Head. It's Disafterdark. Episode something or other. I'm Paul.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Paul.
And I'm Martin.
Yes, it took some convincing, but we've got a guest that actually announced himself rather than wait for us to do it. It's fantastic. Yes, we'll introduce Martin a bit better in a minute. But, yeah, gentlemen, let's start as we mean to go on. Are we drinking?
Yes.
We're drinking.
Good.
That's
Good.
why Paul was so long.
Yeah.
He was at the bar waiting to be served.
I had to run all the way down into the cellar, the wine cellar, right over on the west wing.
It's heaving in here tonight.
So go on, Mr. D.
All right, so I found a bottle of Savannah dry cider, in honour of the Animal Kingdom launch. I got a Savannah View. There it is.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, good. A Disney theme for once in a few shows by
that's
one of
me.
us.
Yeah. In that case, let me go next. I'll let side down. I'm actually, as we're speaking, listen.
Yeah.
That is the Gentleman Jack.
Oh,
And
he's on the hard stuff.
that is
Giving up.
Cherry Pepsi Max, who are still not sponsoring this show, but I really wish they would do.
So Jack and Cherry Pepsi.
Gentleman Jack and Cherry Pepsi Max.
Interesting.
Because why not?
Yeah, interesting combo.
Yeah. No Disney theme, just drink up. Cheers.
Come up with a name for that, Nick.
Fair enough.
Oh,
Mar-
yeah, I can
cocktail.
do that. How about a dangerous brew?
Pepsi Jacks.
Pepsi Jacks. Fair enough.
Cherry Jack.
Martin, are you
Yes.
joining us?
I certainly am. I
Excellent.
did bring back a beautiful bottle of Remy wine from the new attraction
Oh.
that's at Disneyland Paris. But unfortunately, the wife has gone to bed and she won't let me open this one without her. So,
Oh, a
been
quick.
left to dig around the back of the cupboards and find what we've got. And I found a strongbow.
Fair enough.
So,
How very
The
brave.
the only real connection I could find was either Brave or Robin Hood, because he uses
Yeah.
a bow and arrow.
He
So,
does.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers. Well, I've gone for to keep me warm as a Lamb's Navy rum, but I decided that wasn't warming enough, so I've picked up some. I think ginger's nice and warming, and to keep in with a Disney theme, I've gone for something that's reminiscent and named after lots of parents hauling 6-year-olds around various Walt Disney parks. I've gone for Krabby's ginger wine.
I thought you were going for Brave as well with the ginger.
Yeah, there is that as well. There is that as well.
I'll
Oh,
just say, for
fantastic.
comical effect of listening to me actually pouring out my alcohol and then just taking a sip of it, to make it sound like I was actually doing it, I ended up pouring a lot more in than I was expecting. So this show could go quite badly wrong for me quite soon.
It did sound like a couple of big glug glug glugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted it to sound good, but now I'm regretting my decision.
I'm all in favour of it. But I'm not the one that's going to drink it.
You can talk. I tell you what, you can talk about your ginger being warming, but this is really warming right now.
Oh, fantastic. Might have to go.
Right.
Well, there we go. How do they find us? Blah, blah, blah.
So, if they want to visit our website, you can do at www.disafterdark.com. And you can email us at podcast@disafterdark.com.
Excellent.
And of course, like everybody else, we're on Twitter @Disafterdark. And we wouldn't be anything if we weren't on Facebook, facebook.com/Disafterdark. But we're also on nicechat.com.
And I think we've still got an Instagram page with nothing on it whatsoever anymore, and Pinterest, although I don't do anything on that anymore. And I've just got round to uploading a few more holiday videos onto our vacation videos.
I did notice that the other day, actually, yeah.
Yeah, including the latest one, which is just general stuff outside the parks, which includes me going on the Sammy Duval parasailing. And
is that the person from Cheers who used to go out with Sam?
Possibly. if Sam swang that way. And going on the world's highest sky coaster.
Ooh.
Which was
Something, I imagine.
An interesting experience.
Because sorry, just to interrupt, just because my wife
free,
doesn't really listen to this show anymore.
Yeah.
Just because, not because she resents me, just because she hears enough of my voice.
Yeah.
I'm going to do something which everyone will listen to this show will know about, but she won't. So don't tell her. We just had some friends come back from Walt Disney World. They come. I went over for Christmas and just come back and brought some gifts. And one of them was a bag of Ghirardelli chocolate squares. I've been told I can't eat the dark chocolate with mint flavour, but she's in bed. So I've just opened one of those up, and I'm going to eat that during the show. So there you go.
There you go,
little
Mark.
surprise. There
you go, Mark. There's the inspiration you need. Open that Remy wine now.
And,
I should pop that open.
and just for the record, where can we find your wife on Twitter and Facebook?
Yeah, she doesn't. She's not on that. And if you believe, if you've seen that I've ever mentioned her, it's a lie. It's someone else.
Fair enough.
You can find her at /pissedoff.com.
Excellent. Well,
He's always been there.
yeah. Well, we heard him introduce himself as Martin, because that's his name.
Oh yeah.
Why would you introduce yourself as anything else? It's gone downhill already. Martin, tell us a bit more about yourself.
Okay.
And then we'll find out, or we'll give the readers readers. No,
Yeah.
someone take over.
No, Frank Skinner refers to his listeners as readers.
That's all right then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, dear reader. And then we'll get into the meat and bones of why Martin's here. Other than the fact we like him, it's not just. Yeah. I'll shut up. Carry on, Martin.
Thank you for greasing up there. I am husband to Hayley and a father to Jake. We're all big Disney fans. We spend quite a lot of time, especially over the past 2 years. We've spent quite a lot of time over at Disneyland Paris. That's kind of our home park.
Excellent.
And professionally, I'm a DJ. Available for bookings, halifaxdj.co.uk.
And you can tell that because his microphone technique's so much better than ours.
And yeah, I've been a long time listener of the show.
Excellent. It's glad to have you here.
Yeah.
One of the other reasons, you're a shareholder, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Yes, we're shareholder in Disneyland Paris.
And we've been talking, a fair bit the last couple of shows because of everything that's been going on with Disneyland Paris. We've been talking about the shareholders club and also what is potentially going to be happening. But it was Tuesday. Was it Tuesday this week or Wednesday of the past
Tuesday.
week?
Well, if it's Tuesday, then it's fairly recent. Shall I just do something like hit a jingle?
Yeah, punch a jingle, go on.
Punch a jingle.
A view of the news with Disafterdark.
You can carry on now.
Yeah, always good to hear a jingle for North, East, West, and South. Yeah, so
Actually, I'm disappointed because I thought you had a special Tuesday jingle there. I thought, this is good. Tuesday jingle.
it's like Ruby Tuesday later if you want.
BBC local TV.
But no, so there was a big meeting, a big shareholders meeting that took place this week, which unfortunately I wasn't able to go to, and I believe Paul and Danger weren't able to go to as well. But
Nope.
there was somebody on this show right now who was there. So Martin, if you would like to tell us what happened.
Well, quite a lot happened actually. It was a very important meeting, as you've alluded to.
Did it precede your days in the park, or did you do a meeting?
I sandwiched it either side. I
Excellent.
arrived on the Monday, I did the meeting on the Tuesday, and spent the day in the park on the Wednesday before flying back.
Cool.
So managed to get a little bit of Disney magic in there as well. The meeting itself, for the first time in a long time.
You missed it, or was that deliberate?
I was tempted. It was actually held off-site. It wasn't held on property for Disneyland Paris. So it was in the centre of Paris itself, at a place called the Palais de Congrès, which is a really big shopping centre, and it's got a huge theatre in there as well, with approximately 3,000 seats. There were 800, just over 800 people in attendance at the meeting, which I was quite flabbergasted by, to be honest.
Okay, have you been to them before?
Not a Disney AGM, no.
Okay.
This is the first opportunity I've had, and it was the most important one that's been around in years. So it was quite an honour to have been there.
So were you shocked by the lack of people that turned out, or 800 you thought was a big number?
I actually thought 800 was quite a big number, because there were a lot of people that were said to be boycotting it because they didn't agree with the proposals, and a lot of the shareholders, or a lot of the shares, are held by companies. So they would have sent in proxies. They're voting by proxy, or even in advance by ballot. So it was good to see a room so full, but the security, obviously due to recent events, was absolutely phenomenal. There were 50 odd Disney security and the venue security. There were a couple of sniffer dogs. It was really a very secure place to be that day. And they kicked off the meeting to show a little bit of respect for the recent events by having a minute's silence. So that was quite a poignant moment.
Yeah. Who was kind of on the board?
Right, on the board there was Tom Wolber, who is now in charge of Disneyland Paris. There was Mark Steed, who's the Chief Financial Officer. There was a lady called Virginie Calmel, and she's the chair of Euro Disney SCA, which is the firm that owns and operates Disneyland Paris. And there was a fourth person whose name I didn't get, unfortunately. So, but he didn't say much. He did do the important bits at the end with the voting, but he didn't really join in any of the discussions or presentations or things.
Okay.
Right.
The first person to take the stage was Tom Wolber, and very enthusiastic, very believable with everything he said, and there was a lot of passion, which was good to see, both from a big Disney Parks fan and also a shareholder point of view, because you need somebody in charge of the company that's got a bit of passion for what they do.
Yeah.
Yep.
And throughout his speech, that shone through. He was very complimentary to friend of the show, Philippe Gas, who obviously has now moved on to Shanghai. He was very aware of just how much the cast members mean to the park and the park success, constantly referencing them and the good work that they do, and how he wants to invest in their future as much as the attractions and the refurbs and various other things. So he was like I say, he was very optimistic and very very entertaining as well.
Because I think that's something that a lot of people, at least recently, have probably expressed some issues with, is maybe the attitude of the cast members, not maybe being as friendly or as forthcoming as those found in the American parks. I mean, I've never really experienced that myself. I've always had good cast members and good cast interactions, but there certainly did seem to be a majority of people that have voiced that. And I mean, at the same time, it was quite clear, if you ever pay attention to the French media, about the attitude of some of the cast members in some of the ways they felt they were treated by Disneyland Paris. So I think it's a good move to kind of, as you say, bring so much attention in the positive way as well of the cast members.
Absolutely. I think when that filters down, I mean, subsequently to the meeting, he released a video aimed specifically at the cast members, which is available for all to see on YouTube. And he's basically thanking them for the great work that they do and looking forward to working with them to make the park a success in 2015 and beyond. But it's quite a nice touch that nobody else seems to have done in addressing the CMs directly. So I thought that was quite a nice thing to do as well. But like you say, there's a lot. I mean, on TripAdvisor and other forums, there's a lot of people saying that they've had bad experience with cast members over in Paris. I've not had one issue at all with them over the many visits we've had, especially over the past 2 years where we've been 8 times.
Wow!
So that's an awful lot of times, and you would expect that if we were going to we would be more likely to get a bad interaction. But I'm of the old thought that if you're speaking to somebody, you get the same back. So they often mirror the way you are. So if you've had a bad experience, sometimes it's the way perhaps you've approached the situation or so on. So, and I think that, unfortunately, passes on to, and they're more likely to complain about it if they've had a bad experience, aren't they? So,
no, Martin Walker, voice of reason there.
Yeah, I think if you've been to Florida though, you tend to compare, don't you? And American cast members are a little bit more kind of bouncy and upbeat and have a nice day and all that kind of stuff. Doesn't mean to say the French cast members are not good, they're just a little bit different, not quite as sort of...
It's a different culture though, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
I think that's... I think sometimes, people's complaint about the American parks is that they're too over the top.
Yeah.
Or they're too cheery. Whilst, traditionally, especially British attitude of the French is normally quite droll. So you do have that. Just out of curiosity, Martin, do you speak French yourself, or
a little bit? I can understand a lot more than I can speak.
Yep.
So often when I'm in a room or I'm listening to the cast members, I can understand what they're talking, pick out the odd words and string it together. But to actually converse, it takes a lot. If I've been over there for a few days, then it's my school teaching seem to kick back in, and I can order a baguette and things. But apart from that, it's more comprehension.
Mine's so minimal that when I do speak it, they often pick up that I'm English
straight away.
And I'll order in French and they'll speak back to me in English.
Yeah.
But sometimes people, that's people's reasoning as to why the experience may not be good because we're not trying. But again, I've never found that either. I've gone on trips where I've done nothing but speak English in a truly obnoxious way, and those trips where I've tried to incorporate a little bit in. And to be honest, always been treated really well by people. So
I'm intrigued about your speaking English in a truly obnoxious way. Is that a deliberate accent or just...
Yeah, I start doing it with a slight Mancunian accent.
Oh, there
really,
it goes.
Really rile people up. Anyway, sorry, Martin, carry on.
That's all right. Manchester being a stone throw away from me, I'm not too offended. Yeah, so like I say, Tom doing his speech was very good. Then after him came Mark Steed with all the financial information. He introduced the proposal, which was available that day to vote on, and went through a lot of the figures, went through how it will work if it's agreed to, and there was a lot of disquiet in the room. There were a lot of people that were heckling, kind of like that.
The weirdest heckle I've ever heard.
There were, unfortunately, I couldn't quite pick out what the heckles were, but the general consensus of the fans, as they appeared to be in the room, were that they were unhappy with the proposal. So he had to work through that.
Just for the sake of the listeners who haven't read or heard anything about it, what are these proposals?
Okay, well, basically, as has been from 1989 when the shares first started on for Disneyland Paris, the company hasn't made a profit, and in fact has been making losses ever since. It's constantly having its hand out, asking for more money. There's various reasons for that, various bad decisions which we've not got long enough to go into. But on a couple of occasions, they've had to ask the shareholders for more money, or as was the most recent one back in 2012, the Walt Disney Company came in and said, right, we're going to buy all your debt. So instead of owing the debt to the banks, which was stopping them from doing any building, developing, new rides, even doing some refurbs and things, they wouldn't give them the money to do that. They wanted paying back before they could spend anything, which is unrealistic if you've got an operating park.
Yeah.
So the Walt Disney Company have come in and said, right, we're paying off all your debts, you owe us the money. And here's some extra money to go away and improve the park and to do some refurbs on the hotels and some of the major attractions. So they've done that, and they've looked at the books over the past couple of years and seen that attendance is dropping, seen that the revenue overall is dropping, and basically the park still hasn't had that cash injection that it needs to really put it back on its feet again. So the Walt Disney Company have turned around and said, right, we are willing to wipe off some of the debt and buy some more shares. And we would like you as shareholders to invest with us, and hopefully we'll turn this park around. So this is to the tune of €1 billion. So it's a very big decision. Of that €1 billion, about 250 million is going to be cash available, ready for the park to use and do as they see fit. Hopefully, investing in the cast members and the experience, in the attractions, maybe even get another ride or attraction out of it. And the other 750 million is to pay down debt and to turn some of the debt into shares for the Walt Disney Company. So they will end up being, instead of 38% as they currently hold, they're going to end up with possibly twice that as a percentage of the company. So there will be a real big driving force. And at the end of the day, if they own the money, if they're owed the money for the debt, then and they own a large percentage of the park, they're not going to want to see it fail, which was the other option of this thing. Do nothing and see the park fail.
Am I correct in thinking, because I've said this before, and now you've got an expert on, these are the times that you need to make sure the listeners are corrected accordingly into the lies they may have been told before. I've always been under the impression that under the French law, that Disneyland Paris or any corporation, but obviously we're talking about Disneyland Paris in this instance, couldn't be fully owned by an outside company.
I believe you're right.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So the way that it's set up at the moment is very convoluted. The Walt Disney Company have 3 different companies. They own 99% of 3 different companies, and those 3 companies each own a percentage of the shares for the park. So ultimately, it belongs to the Walt Disney Company. But to get around the local laws, they've set up other companies and set up ways to circumvent the law so they can actually ultimately own it.
Cool. Okay.
Although why they've not just gone to the French government and said, look, it's good for you, it's good for us, let us own it, is beyond me, really. So.
Well, I think the only, and when I've talked about this before, the only reason I can think of that is purely that it was set a precedent. That's the only reason I could see it not working. You know, for all intents and purposes, it makes every bit of sense, but it's potentially the knock-on effect it could have.
Yes.
But yeah, that I just wanted to make sure that I was correct there. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's fine. So this proposal was put forward to everybody, and then when Mark Steed finished all his financial side of things, then some people from PricewaterhouseCoopers, they stood up and gave a report on the proposal, and then a report on the report of the proposal, and a report on the report of the report of the proposal.
That's how PwC make their money.
Absolutely. Made me think I'm in the wrong business. That's for sure. So after that, they decided to lighten the mood a bit, and they introduced the lady who does she's in charge of the shows at Disneyland Paris. And on came Olaf.
The real one.
The real Olaf. We couldn't believe it. And he started singing a bit of In Summer, and then it was announced that this summer there's going to be a Frozen summer at Disneyland Paris. So it is now passed over the Atlantic Ocean and made its way to Paris, where there's going to be a sing-along in the Chaparral Theatre.
Oh, well, at least they're doing something with that.
And there's going to be a meet and greet as well. They haven't, although Kristoff and Olaf were on the stage with this announcement, they haven't actually confirmed whether or not they will be as part of the meet and greet. But it was good to see them both there. And that was well welcomed or by the room itself.
Could you almost tell, or even just your personal opinion, welcomed in the fact that whoopee, we've got a Frozen show and meet and greet, or whoopee, the Chaparral Theatre is actually being used again?
Personally, I think it's a bit of both, or it certainly was from me.
You've got a daughter, haven't you?
No, he's a son, but he loves Frozen. Bless him.
Excellent.
But I mean, one of the other things was obviously recently over Christmas they've had Anna and Elsa doing a meet and greet at the Princess Pavilion with lines to see them, very similar to those over in Walt Disney World. And then when the Christmas season is finished, instead of saying, right, we'll keep them on, they've just took them away out of the park. So it's annoyed quite a few people because they heard over Christmas, obviously Anna and Elsa are there. Wow, we can go see them. We're off in April. We're off. And they won't be there until the end of May. So...
yeah.
I think the only reason that it would make sense to do that is just to maybe, because I think the thing is there's been a lot of a lot of queues and everything like that. Maybe the reason for the downtime is to kind of perfect what they're going to do going forward.
I would think so. I would also think there's an element of if they take them away, then they can announce them as coming back and
Like the
make
electrical light parade.
make a big song and dance of it. Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Fantastic.
So in terms of the actual vote then, or the proposal then, Martin, what's the outcome of that, or what happens next?
Well, after a lot of questions and answers from some very disgruntled shareholders, which were all exactly the same questions, just put in different ways.
Sounds like a Facebook user group.
And they were answered very well by the panel, actually. They didn't seem to get riled by the same questions over and over again. But after about 40 minutes of questions and answers, we were then given a You Bet style voting pad.
Did Matthew Kelly come out for it, or?
Unfortunately not, no.
It should have been someone from Banzai. Place your bets now! That'll be lost on anyone who didn't see Banzai, isn't it? Really. Carry on.
That'd be me then.
Late night challenge TV. We've got to watch. So we were given the opportunity to vote. There were 15 proposals in all. Most of them were just your general annual general meeting questions. Should so and so be re-elected, and can we do this with the money and so on? Do you agree with the accounts? So those all went through, and then it got to the last few proposals, which were the main ones. All of them went through with very, very high percentages. We're talking 98, 99% of people voted in favour of the proposals to do the recapitalisation. So that means that it's going ahead, and as of Monday the 19th of January until the 6th of February, each shareholder has the option to buy up to 9 shares for every share they currently hold at the price of €1. So for those people in the shareholders club currently, you have to have 100 shares to be a member of that shareholder club.
So if you buy another 900 shares.
No, you're out.
If you don't have 100 shares, or if you weren't grandfathered in with one of the previous agreements, then you won't be able to apply for the shareholders club for some time now. They've suspended all applications. If you are a member of the shareholder club and you've got your 100 shares and you've got your card, then you are all right. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to do anything. You can stay a member of that shareholder club so long as you retain those 100 shares.
Now, can I just point out as well, Martin's completely correct on this. I can't remember if I mentioned last show or not, but I actually bought my remaining shares in December of last year, just before Christmas break, to give me 101 shares. And I had been accepted as a member of the club, but I do not have my card as yet. As long as you've been... I will get my card, it is on its way, I've been told. But as long as you bought your shares before that date and you had applied before that cut-off of the 15th, then you should still be in that shareholder club. It's just if it wasn't accepted by that date or you hadn't bought your shares, then it's probably too late.
So if you're in the club then, normally the club is valid for 2 years, yeah?
That's right.
Yeah.
So then you got to renew after 2 years. So what happens if you need to renew after 2 years then?
If you need to renew after 2 years, then you just renew as you normally would. And as long as you have those 100 shares, then you're fine. You can still be a member of the shareholder club. If you've decided to sell a couple of the shares in the meantime to pay a bill or something, then unfortunately you're out.
Yeah.
So it's one of those where now you have to think whether or not it's worth keeping the shares in there for the perks, which most people would say it is. So that's the shareholder club side of things. But as I say, you can buy up to 9 shares for every one share you have. So potentially, if you've got 100 shares, or in Nick's case, 101, then you can buy 909 more shares at €1 each. Then you've got the choice. You can either keep them and hope that the company does well and that you make a nice little tidy profit of it, or after the 6th of February, the Walt Disney Company are offering to buy those shares back at €1.25 each. So you can make a little bit of a profit on it if that's what you wanted to do.
Ooh, so offering to buy them back at more.
Yes.
Are they hoping people sell them back? Do they actually want them back so they own more? I don't know.
Yes. Yeah, I think so. And if you do nothing, then the Walt Disney Company will buy your shares at the €1 rate themselves. So you're better, to be honest, if you've got that cash, because obviously it's a lot of outlay.
Yeah.
But if you've got that cash, you're better off to buy it. And if you don't want them, then sell it. But just remember to retain your 100 original shares to remain in the shareholder club.
Yeah.
And then after
Financial advice from Disafterdark.
Yeah, what's that? All that blurb about, do not.
Yeah, your investment may rise as well as fall.
Yeah.
Do not pass go. Do not collect £200.
Past performance is no indicator of future performance. Blah blah
That's the
blah.
one.
Yeah.
all that, and the other thing as well, because of French law, because the Walt Disney Company are acquiring all these extra shares, they have to offer those at the market rate for sale. So what they're going to do when everything's closed and they've bought all the shares off people that want to sell them to them, they're then going to offer all existing shareholders the chance to buy one extra share for every share that they own. So if you had 100 shares and you've bought 900 shares, so you're left with 1,000 shares, then you can then buy another 1,000 shares at the price of $1.25. So it's a chance for you to actually get a little bit extra as well if you wanted to invest in a company that hasn't produced any dividends in quite some time. Do you want to take the punt or not? That's the question.
Do you feel lucky, punk?
Yeah.
I mean, my attitude on it, and this is personal, so this is not, again, everyone will have their own views and blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, I would not have the ability at the moment to go full out and buy the 900 odd shares that would be available to me, 909 shares that would be available to me. But at the same time, for being able to buy, 9 shares for €1, I think I am going to invest some more into the company. And I suppose it's almost a win-win, because if you buy more shares, that's obviously good for the company. Or if you sell them to Disney, you still make some money, but also Disney gets a bigger share.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, that's what they want. The Walt Disney Company ultimately want the full amount of shares so that they can do with the park what they want. But like you say, French laws preclude them from doing that. So
but they still want to have as much as possible, and I get it. And I mean, the thing is, maybe that's what they're going for. Maybe if you see at the moment their stake's about 38%, and they're looking to effectively double.
Yeah.
So if we're talking around about 80% or so, maybe that is a reason for a precedent to be set. Maybe they're banking on the fact that, if they can get such a large percentage to do it. And I mean, the other thing about, Disneyland Paris to a lot of companies is what it brings in. The thing is, you've got companies like McDonald's in France, which obviously do well and bring money into the economy and provide jobs. But Disney doesn't just provide jobs. It provides a tourist destination that brings people in from all over the world that are then going to spend their money in France.
Yeah.
So, maybe, with having such a big share and the fact that it's got so much clout, maybe that's what they're hoping for one day. I don't know.
So if you buy the 900 shares, then do you get more than one chocolate chip cookie in Salon Mickey?
You're still lucky to get one chocolate chip cookie in Salon Mickey.
Just one.
You go at the wrong time.
So it's currently closed. It actually closed on the Monday before the meeting. So the meeting was the 13th, and it closed on the 12th. Which
That might be what some of the heckles were.
Well, some people saw that as it's closing for good and so on. What they're actually doing is they're just repaving outside of it, so they have to close off the entrance, and then later on down the line they've got to close off the exit. So they're doing it all at once. But yeah, hopefully the shareholders club will reopen as they've promised, and I'll be able to get my cookie next time I'm there.
Yay.
It will be interesting as well because, the last time, because I didn't get to renew my shareholders card after it was last up for renewal in 2013, I've not been to Salon Mickey since that time. But I've always joked about how hard it was to get something to have for breakfast in there because there was always nothing by the time I got there about 9:30 in the morning. And one of the things they tried to address, and that was why they raised the shareholder number up from 20 to 100, was to stop people just buying a few shares on the cheap to get these perks.
Yeah.
What's the situation like now? Obviously, a lot of people in the position that I was, where they didn't have enough shares to join. Do you think that's had a knock-on effect? Do you think that's had the effect that they wanted, that less people now are having a small amount and able to get those benefits?
I think so, and part of me thinks I hope so as well, because the company, through the shareholders club and through the annual passes, but through the shareholder club, they give away too much, and it's all right to have some perks. Going in through Salon Mickey as opposed to through a normal turnstile and getting a cookie and a drink, that's fine. That's not really going to cost them a lot. But the 15% off your annual passes, the 15% off the dining while you're there, the 10% off the shops and the shops, any of the Disney stores in Europe, it all adds up, and it all takes off money from the bottom line that they could be earning. So the fewer people that are offered those perks, I selfishly think, the better, really.
And I've now got this image now that Salon Mickey's going to turn into a real sort of pipe and cigars gentleman's club.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. I'd love that. There's
no
reason
wear
to
a
smoke a
smoking
cigar in that
jacket.
park.
There has been rumours, and they are just rumours, that they're trying to make it more like Club 33. So obviously they'd have to do a lot more than just have the cookies for it to be like that. But
well, to anyone that's not bitten, which is I'd guess a fair few people that listen, it's a very small. It's not like you could turn it into a restaurant or something like that. It's a very small place to hang around in, isn't it?
Yeah,
It
it's not
is.
like Club 3.
yes,
Yeah,
But
certainly.
I think next time I go there, I will wear my smoking jacket and my cravat.
Other neck accessories are available. But hey, look, it's been a while.
No, it hasn't. I've managed to get 2 episodes out very quickly.
Yeah, touche. So, obviously there were people against it. They voted for it in the end, which I think, for all intents and purposes, was probably the smartest thing. One of the other rumours that I've been hearing is that they're talking about increasing the cost of an annual pass. Was this something that was addressed at all?
it wasn't mentioned at all during the AGM.
Pretty smart.
I've heard the same rumours, and again, I think it's a good idea to increase it, and or take away some of the benefits as well. Mm-hmm. Because at the moment you can buy an annual pass for the price of a 5-day 2-part ticket. Which...
Do you think though? Because I've spoken highly on this podcast before for the reasons for buying an annual pass, and even when suggesting trips to friends, looking outside of the package deals about kind of doing it DIY and buying your tickets separately, buying your hotel and Eurostar separately or travel. I mean, I agree on one end, but to me, I think the reason why it's, not only is it a cost-saving thing as well, but I think sometimes those package deals can be so expensive.
They can.
I mean, I personally would be happy with the annual pass going up if it meant that the day tickets went down. Do you think that's a possibility if that happens, or do you think everything will just continue in the same direction?
I don't think the day tickets will go down, but I do think perhaps they might reassess the hotel prices, the full package prices, and perhaps stagger them a bit more than they currently are. Because obviously you've got the Disneyland Hotel right at the top there, which is top dollar, and further down you've got your Newport Bay, your Sequoia Lodge, and then you've got your Santa Fe and your Cheyenne. But still, the cost of going to Santa Fe or Cheyenne can be an awful lot of money.
Yeah,
especially when it's a family of 3 or 4.
You did say that the AGM trip to Paris was sandwiched in between. So whereabouts do you normally stay, or where were you staying this time?
We've stayed at a couple of the hotels. We've stayed at the Disneyland Hotel, and we've stayed at the Hotel New York. On this trip, I was at the Disneyland Hotel, and they actually upgraded me as well to the Castle Club. So
I'm so in the wrong job.
That was really good.
Yeah, I mean, I feel embarrassed.
Do you work for PricewaterhouseCoopers?
Yeah, I mean, I feel embarrassed walking around the Disneyland Hotel and how inappropriate it is for me to be around them. I'm surprised they even let me in. Well, actually, they don't. The doors open automatically. Yeah. But I mean, to be honest, I actually can't remember now the last time I stayed on site, because I just couldn't see the benefit. And I think that's what one of the annoying things is about how Disneyland Paris is pricing itself, because I don't want to stay off site. I mean, I found a very good hotel I normally stay at every time now, which is very convenient, very clean and tidy, across the road from a hypermarket and very local to the park. Very good. But ideally I'd like to stay on site, but when you're looking at the cost of your trip going up by £200-300 just by staying at a hotel which is actually a lower star rated accommodation, you've got to ask yourself, why would you do it?
Yeah, it's hard to justify that, isn't it? It really is.
Did you go out on your own, or did you take the family and leave them there while you went to the meeting? Or?
Oh no, I left them at home. I did this one solo.
It was a research work trip.
Absolutely, yes.
Well, you got to fulfil your obligation as a shareholder, or some sort of thing.
How did you find the park this time?
It was good. It was very, very quiet, and quite confusing as well, because the Christmas decorations were still up. But they were working on removing those whilst I was there. You
were out during the period of issues Paris was having, weren't you?
It was just after it happened. Yeah. The shooting happened on the Wednesday, was it the Thursday?
Yeah, it was the Wednesday before, yeah.
And the meeting was on the following Tuesday, so it was really close, and noticeably everything was a lot tighter. I mean, to be honest, normally the security at Disneyland Paris, anyway, when you're going in, is usually very good, very tight.
Yeah. The bag check and scan. And...
Yeah, exactly. But it was even more so, and there was even more of a presence of the French military at the station and at the airport when I arrived, and so on. So there was a visible presence there to help calm people down and give them a bit of confidence.
I find that really obviously, you go to the Walt Disney World and Disneyland, and Disney have got their own security and their little, they're very nice blue navy blue trousers and light blue shirt and the Disney badge on them, and then you go to Paris, and in between the station and the park, there is armed, camouflaged guards.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. Bienvenue en France.
Well, I mean, to have a serious point for a second, I mean, quite often on here, as much as we love Disneyland Paris, and apologies to American listeners actually, because it's been very Disneyland Paris centric.
I'll put the notes in, and they can decide whether to listen or not.
Service will be resumed very, very soon. But I mean, we joke quite a bit about Disneyland Paris and our French listeners or lack of French listeners. But obviously, what happened out there was a very, very tragic situation, and I think what was really good was the spirit in the way that different communities come together, both there and here, home in England, and I think it was nice to just have a bit of unity and support for our friends out in France. Especially in Paris. So anyone that was affected, our condolences are with you. And Je suis Charlie. It's done. That's it. That's the last time you hear that for a while. We're so PC on this show.
That'd be the ROM.
Really hit a high. And then suddenly, like, the devil just drags us back to hell.
Yeah.
So
it's Captain Morgan this time. It's his fault.
Blame Captain Morgan. So, Martin, I mean, obviously I think the key thing for most people from this AGM was to do with the financial situation with Disneyland Paris and obviously what they're looking to do. But you did mention as well, I mean, you mentioned the Frozen in Summer thing. But did they kind of let you into more of the future plans for the park, some of the attractions? I mean, there's a lot of refurbing going on this year and next year, isn't there?
There is, well? Yeah. They're really looking forward to the 25th anniversary, which is in April 2017. So 2 years away. It's not very long to get everything ready.
And for those that can't go in 2017, by the way, they will actually be celebrating the 25th anniversary until 2020.
Yeah.
If past experiences are to go by, at least.
And the castle is going to be turned into a giant Olaf. I've got that on good account. That's going to happen.
I don't think they mentioned that at the AGM.
No, I know, but I've got my sources.
H.P. Branson and Worcestershire are not the right ones. Sorry, Martin.
They mentioned a couple of things. They mentioned that Space Mountain, which is currently closed for refurb, for the next 6 months.
What are they doing? Space Mountain Mission 3?
No, but from what they've said, it sounds like they're preparing it for that. Because not only is it closed between now and July, they reckon it's going to open again. It's actually penciled in for a closure for 2 months next year as well, the beginning of next year, which would lead me to believe that they're kind of getting everything ready now to do another refurb and launch it as a new thing from next year.
Because I mean, the rumour for a long time has been new cars were definitely happening, and you've got to wonder: do you need to close attraction down for 6 months to install new cars? Or is this going to be more of a refurb? And there's been lots of rumours before about maybe reverting some of the things back to the Earth to the Moon, the original version of Space Mountain.
Yeah.
I wonder what they're actually doing now, what they're doing next year.
Unfortunately, a lot of the rumours just seem to be wish lists, and that is a shame because a lot of the things we've heard would be really preferable to the way it is at the moment. The things that they confirmed were that they're basically cleaning everything up inside and out, and they're putting in lots of new effects, and they're doing lots of technical behind the scenes things. That's the long and short of it. They've even closed Nautilus, and they're doing all they're redoing the lagoon and all the way around there. So they're meant to be bringing it all back to how it should be. As opposed to how it's been let to slide with the colours and the
whole steampunk thing back again.
Absolutely, which would be great to see again, to be honest.
That reminds me, actually, the last trip I had, I'm going to find this picture. I took a photo of Nautilus, and I'll tell you why. Because, and this is the first and only time in all my trips to Disneyland Paris I've ever seen it, there was a queue to get into it. And I'm not talking 4 people. I'm talking a queue to get into it. There was
worthy of fast pass.
There was almost triple figures.
Was Arna down there signing autographs or something?
I never found out because I didn't want to queue up.
Oh dear,
Baby was cold.
We're approaching time, and yeah, as you said, we've been very Francophile heavy tonight. But it wasn't me. I think it might have been you that posted a tweet about shout-outs and questions.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, the first one I've got is the shout-outs from last week. Rhiannon Redmond just missed one. She posted just after we recorded, and she said it would make her 7-year-old daughter's day if we could give her a shout-out. She loves the show and asks every week if the new one's out yet. See, they're all at it. Everyone's a critic.
You know what? I'm really glad that we actually do have people who listen to this show because we actually do this for ourselves because we're egotists, and it's always just nice that other people like listening to our voices. But yeah, if you want a show that comes out regularly, probably the wrong one.
We'll get there again.
Yeah.
Until we all go on holiday again.
Yeah, that was the thing. That messed us up.
Her name's Lee. It might be Leah. It might be Lee, because some people have a silent H. Apparently.
Both names are lovely.
Leah Redmond. Thank you.
Yeah.
And if you want to appear on the show, I will arrange for another 7-year-old Disney fan, and we'll have a Daughters of Disafterdark show.
Hey, what if she can sing? We're looking for a singer.
Yeah.
Although, can I just say that I think it's a little bit early to get my daughter on the show for doing that.
Yeah.
A little bit late to get mine on.
Oh, dear.
Still your daughter, Paul.
Yeah. Still counts. But we had a Ken Story.
Oh, over on Twitter, yeah.
Over on Twitter. He asked us this one. If the Poly Cabanas a success, where will they build over the water cabanas next? I guess he means the new huts and the Polynesian resort, doesn't he?
The Bora bungalows.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
That's the official name for them. Okay.
Yeah. There's 20 of them. I want to get one. I want to stay in one.
Well, yeah.
Sounds too much like Bunga Bunga.
Yeah, I know.
They're being built on the lagoon at Epcot outside the Italy pavilion. Where will they build over the water cabanas next? We'll start off his vote on the opposite side of the transportation and ticket centre with their own lobby. But isn't that a bit close to the Poly because that's like right by it, isn't it? Or I don't know.
Pretty nearby, yeah.
Or is that just the boat launch that I'm thinking of, and then the TTC's round a bit?
Where else could you do? I mean, what have we got? The Grand Floridian.
I would say, I think the next logical step down this route is for Disney to stop doing all the hotels and stuff and actually start renting motorboats and that sort of thing, a bit like the Norfolk Broads, on all their waterways. Mm-hmm. And if you want to like pull it down to a quay at downtown Disney or Disney Springs, you can. If you want to take it round to a mooring station at Port Orleans, you can. So it just goes all around the waterways. And I think that will make for a lot more nautical-based accidents.
Yeah.
Which is what they're looking for.
I think the next time I go there, I'm going to take Fulton's Crab House out for a spin.
I might take the Mark Twain.
I want someone to stand on the front of Fulton, climb up to the front of Fulton's Crab House and shout, "I'm the king of the world." Someone must have done it somewhere.
Yeah.
Martin, have you yourself visited the parks overseas?
Not since I was 5, so quite some time ago since I went to Disney World.
You're putting
remember this is the radio. You could say so about 15 years ago, and no one would be any the wiser.
I could, but yeah. The wife goes every year though. She goes with a charity every December, so she gets over a lot more than I do.
This sounds like a great relationship. Your wife gets to go to Florida every year.
Yeah.
And you go to Paris without her. Cool. Oh, is it with something like Make-A-Wish and taking kids out there and that sort of thing?
They're called Caldwell Children. It's very similar to the Make-A-Wish, and they stay at Give Kids the World. So
excellent.
And this year they actually had Rachel Stevens go out with them. So my wife was absolutely made up because she's a big S Club fan.
Oh, and I tell you what, if they ever have that happen again and they would like some sort of charity-based podcast recording to go out with them, I volunteer my services.
When we were there a few years ago, I think it was Make-A-Wish, and they had Charlie Dimmock with them. So we saw Charlie Dimmock in the Magic Kingdom.
Well, things have certainly perked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that in both senses of the word as well.
Yeah.
And if they're getting Rachel Stevens. It's
Yeah.
quite funny as well, actually, because, not 5 minutes ago, Martin, you said about bringing it all back. And I was thinking, if only we could insert some S Club there, and then you throw in Rachel Stevens. So, I mean, it's all tied up itself up rather nicely.
We still
what
have
do you
to
think
answer
today?
that question.
I don't know. I have no idea. If
Okay.
they are a success, some more country floaty log cabins like you find going round on the riverboat rides in the parks, and they put those floaty log cabins out by Wilderness Lodge.
Hey, look, they do the water tie and electrical parade, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Across that waterway. Why don't they just do like a really small private island? So you can only get there by boat, and it's really exclusive. So maybe 5 huts, deluxe huts. You can stay on this island. That's all there is. You can
A
only
bit
get
like the tree houses
boat.
they used to have round Saratoga Springs way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something like that.
Or Discovery Island. You remember Discovery Island before the Animal King opened?
Yeah.
Animal King opened?
Isn't that where it's condemned because of the water?
Yeah.
That might be the issue.
No, that was River Country, wasn't it?
Wasn't it? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry, you're completely
That was
right.
the one
Oh,
that the guy swam out to. And,
Yes.
Oh, I think we've got a whole new show brewing.
Yeah.
Also, not a question as such, but Lewis Sutton, get in touch.
Yeah.
He knows. I mean, you'll know, but he knows. You'll know.
That's some sort of weird code going on here, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, I get accused of being some sort of hitman stroke spy, and you're the one using codes to talk in...
Yeah, but I've been drinking.
I don't blame you. I talk in code when I'm drinking.
Oh, and also, David Wilders said, "Hey guys." Now he actually first of all said, "Hey guys" on the 4th of August.
Yeah.
But I only saw his message tonight, so I did reply to him just now, and he's replied back. So rather than go back and forth ping ponging on Facebook,
If he listens to
just
this...
on the podcast,
Yeah.
let us know if you've heard this on the podcast. Message us to say you've heard it. I'm not replying to a message on Facebook, so you've done it. So there's another fun game for all the listeners.
It's all sloped away. There we
Yeah.
go.
We're also having a good
Right.
show.
Yeah. Anyway. Right. Is that it? I think that's time, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe.
I'm sure there's other things that Martin heard as well, but we have
I think we'd have...
kind of hit the wall.
Yeah.
in time.
I think we'd have Martin back whenever he wants to.
Yeah. Definitely.
If you're ever free, please let us know. And if
Now we're on
anyone wants-
Skype. We're on Skype at this time of night, so just butt in whenever you feel like it as well.
Yeah. or other
Joshua
services.
left for you to do.
Yeah,
Where is he?
I wonder well, the last I heard, or last I saw, he was being dragged away by many white coats.
Yeah.
I think he was going to a Muppet house.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what they called it. Yeah. I love you, Josh.
Yeah.
Hope you're well. So thank you very much for joining us. If people want to find out more about you, or if they want to follow you on Twitter or book you for a DJing gig, how can they contact you?
Well, for the DJing, my website is www.halifaxdj.co.uk. They can find me on Instagram at HalifaxDJ and on Twitter at Keiko, Keiko 315.
Excellent.
That's an interesting one. Is there a story? No, don't go into it.
Not enough time on this show. Save it for the next show.
There is, but it's not really for broadcast.
Well, Martin, thank you ever so much for joining us.
Thank you
I hope
for
that's cleared up a few things. Oh, welcome anytime. Hope that's cleared up a few things for our listeners about the current situation with Disneyland Paris, and anyone that has shares or is interested in that. Hope that's cleared some things out for you as well. At least you heard it from a professional this time rather than this jackass. If you wish to contact us or find out more, you can visit our website at www.disafterdark.com or email us, of course, at podcast@disafterdark.com.
Or you can find us on Twitter at Disafterdark, facebook.com/Disafterdark, and micechat.com.
YouTube under Disafterdark Podcast, Instagram, Pinterest,
Teletext, CFAX, Courier Pigeon.
Speckled Jim.
Got another one.
I wondered if I would get a Speckled Jim reference in at some point. I really haven't dropped enough for Blackadder.
No.
Recently.
You're probably in danger of dropping loads of.
One of these days I will, but it depends on drinking. Gentlemen.
Enough danger.
Yeah, time, gentlemen, please. On that bombshell.
Growing older is mandatory. Growing up is optional. Disafterdark, the podcast that's nearly the same as all the others.
See you later.
Bye.
Au revoir. Still confusing all our American listeners.
Yeah.
And some of our British ones.
I can go back to non-Disney music now. Your wife isn't telling me off.
Should have been something French today.
Yeah. Le monsieur's behaving le badly.
Joe the taxi. Lovely song, Vanessa Cody. So good with counting down.
4, 3, 2, 1, gone.
Boom.
Boom. How's that? And we're out.